Hi, family. This is part three of our deep dive, our study into why white men seem to hate black men. So let's go into it. Emotional drives of racism. We're going to dig into what are the emotions behind this racism. The first one is fear, the second is envy, and the third is guilt. Envy of black resilience. Okay? Many white men, despite oppression, black men still have survived, they have innovated, and they have excelled. And this can create a type of some subconscious envy. I mean, think about it. The fact, the very thing or person that you have tried to oppress keeps getting back up, keeps getting back up. You have put them in situations where many would not have survived it, more or less thrive. But yet, no matter how much pressure white men have put on our black men, the majority of our black men get up every morning and put their pants on and go on out into this mean, cruel white world. That takes resilience. And even the most mentally insane white man has to find that pretty damn impressive. So I can see how that could create some type of emotional envy within that white person. White men hate what they fear they cannot destroy. And again, guys, I know it's not all white people, but so don't, again, I'm not going to keep saying this because I keep getting comments. We're not all white people. I didn't say all white people. Stay on task now, okay? White men hate what they fear they cannot destroy. Hence, that's why you have the cultural appropriations and economic suppression. Let's talk about unconscious guilt now, the second emotional reason for their hatred. Many white men know deep down inside that black men have been mistreated. You know good and damn well. Let's talk about you men of today. You men grew up in a household where granddad and papa, and even your fathers used the N word like it was like drinking water. You know how they mistreated black men. And so you have this type of white guilt. This guilt can create cognitive dissonance, leading to denial, defensiveness, or increased aggression. Even some of you now, some of you white people now who I hope you're listening to this, you might be feeling angry or on the defensive. That's why the first go-to that many of you white people say when we talk about our oppression, particularly with slavery, is get over it. It already happened. No, that's your guilt. That's your guilt. It's like if you have cheated on your spouse and your spouse is always bringing up your indiscretion. You're just like, just get over it. No, that's your guilt. You don't want to hear the fact. You want to face the fact that you caused great harm to this person. And that's the same with white folk. It's the best, instead of saying, you know what, you're right. I may not have enslaved you. I may not have done separate but equal, but my forefathers did. And for that, I'm sorry. Let's talk about the psychological defense mechanisms. What are some of the defense mechanisms that many white people use on black men? Projection. That's one of them. White men accused black men of their own sins. Oh, that black man's a rapist. Oh, black men are violent. No, you're deflecting. You are a rapist. You are the ones who raped those women on the plantations. You were violent. Do you know how violent you have to be, how savage you have to be to castrate a slave when you catch them, or during civil rights, even now to hang somebody and to watch it? Do you know what kind of savage you must be? That you would hang people and white folk hang people and then make it a picnic and sit around and watch them hang a man from a tree, a black man from a tree, and have your children sitting around watching while you eating sandwiches? But black men are violent? White men are the original savages. But it's easier to project your sins. Second way they project is by demonizing black men. White men distract from their own historical atrocities. Just what I mentioned. It's so much I want to say, but I'm trying to keep this video under 10 minutes. But it's like when you're in an argument with someone, and instead of facing your sin and facing what you did to that person, you say, no, but you did this. Face it, white folk. You have, your ancestors won't shit. And you have to face it. What you have done to the black male, to the black family, but yet you project on us. That's a guilty conscience, my people. Also, a way that white people, the psychological defense mechanism is rationalization. White men create excuses for racist systems. Well, black people commit more crimes rather than the system targets them. The biggest serial killers ain't no black people. We're not shooting up schools. Let me tell you something. We black people, we may shoot Pookie in the hood, but you would never see us walk into a synagogue, a mosque, a temple, nothing where there is a God and shoot it up. You will never see us walk into a school shooting up the babies. Never. Black men have a code on the streets. We don't mess with women and children. The role of group psychology and mass psychosis. Let's dive into this. White racism is not just individual. It's a collective pathology, often reinforced through group psychology. Let's talk about the mob mentality. Don't you know the kind of sick mentality you have to have? Remember when they were the white protesting during the 60s with segregation? When Ruby Bridges was trying to go to school and these black women and men were trying to integrate schools, and it wasn't just white men out there yelling hateful, spiteful things. Hell, they even pulled up and had a fake casket with a black child in it. You've never seen black people do that kind of shit. That's white folk. That's the savagery that's in you. The mob mentality. White mobs committed lynchings, often laughing and taking pictures. I told you that. That's how we have photos of hangings while the children and the white women sit there fanning themselves, watching them hang this man. It's easy to hang someone that you think is property. Some of you white folk, even today, treat your dogs better than you treat black folk. Definitely better than black men. This mob mentality is individation, which means people lose personal responsibility in a group. It's easier for the mob mentality because you can't just put all the blame on yourself. So like if you're a cop and you yourself shoot a black man in the back, he's running away, by the way, and you still shoot and kill that man. It's easier if you had a group of popo with you, and it's a bunch of black people. It's easier than all the blame, all the focus, all the guilt is not put on you yourself, you see. That's why it was so easy for the mobs, white people, to get together and burn up homes. One person, it's easy for, that's why the KKK was so powerful. White nationalism, MAGA, because you have that mob mentality. There's power in numbers, regardless if the power is for good or for evil, you see. Also, echo chambers. White male racist spaces. I just named some. White supremacist groups, even the conservative media, create closed belief systems that reinforce hate. White folk. Just because somebody points out the sins of your ancestors does not mean that one, that we hate you, two, that we blame you. But you are complicit if you don't try to bring a resolve and heal. That's all. Now, I'm not a black man, but I grew up with a strong black father. My parents were married until my mom died last year of ovarian cancer at the age of 86. They would have celebrated 60 years of marriage. And I have strong brothers. I have a strong black husband. So I've been around strong black men all my life. And I know what they have gone through. And I know that they are resilient. In spite of what you all want to say and label our black men. So, I'm going to move on. We're going to jump on to part 3, where we're going to talk about how racism became institutionalized. All right, thank you all so much for watching. I love you all. White folk, don't get mad, get better. Black men, we love you. Can't nobody do it better than you. Talk to you soon. Be blessed. Bye.